What's up, everybody? Welcome to some Samut, Voice of Dissent. Hope you're excited. I'm excited because this is literally the first Nyack commander that I've ever built on my channel or in just basically in my Magic career. Well, not even career, whatever you call it, the time I've been playing Magic. So I've just, I don't know, I've just never been a big Naya person, and whenever I saw Samut was spoiled for a Monkhead, I was like, all right, yeah, let's build her. Now I have an exact reason to build Naya. So, but let's jump into the deck. So we're playing Samut. She has Flash, she has Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste. Other creatures you control have Haste. Then for one white mana untap, you may untap one mana tap. You may untap another target creature. So the way I decided to go with this deck was we have some utility creatures in there that take advantage of their tap ability using Samut to untap her, but we're also running some other, we're running a lot of ramp stuff, and we're also running a lot of Kiki Jiki style infinite combos in the deck. Every once in a while I like to kind of change up the way I build a commander deck. With this one I wanted to build not necessarily cutthroat, but it's a little bit more competitive. So we have numerous ways to kind of get into the Kiki Jiki combo, and I'll kind of explain that here in a little bit. But first, let's start off with the tap creatures that we can untap with Samut's ability. So running Bloom Tinder. With Bloom Tinder, you're going to be able to tap for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana to your mana pool for each color. So basically, most of the time, this is a red-green deck that's splashing white. Most of the time, Bloom Tinder is going to tap for 2. So you can get in the spots where you can tap Bloom Tinder for 2, use Samut's ability to untap the Bloom Tinder and get a few extra mana off that. If you do get some of your Naya stuff out there, you're going to be tapping for 3, 1 mana, then tap for 3 more. So you're going to end up with around 5 mana simply using Samut's untap ability. So pretty good from that. We're also running Savala. If it'll go over there. Let's see. There we go. We're running Savala, Heart of the Wilds. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than each other creature's power. But mainly we're using it for the 1 green ability. 1 green to add X to your mana pool, where combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is the greatest power among creatures that you control. So worst comes to worst, we get her down on turn 3. We're going to be able to add 1 green mana the following turn and tap for 2 mana. And once we get our bigger creatures out there, she becomes a lot better simply because we can use the untap ability from Samut to start generating a lot of extra mana. We're also running the Summerworld Sage. Add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Spend this mana and only cast creature spells. So, get this down turn 3, turn 4. You're going to have really explosive turn 4 and turn 5s with this card out there because you can tap and untap and generate a lot of mana. We're also running Shaman of the Forgotten Waves. Same thing we're doing. Add 2 mana of any combination of colors to your mana pool. Spend this mana to only cast creature spells. Then, once we get into Formidable, we're looking at 11 mana. Each player's life total becomes the number of creatures he or she controls. Activate this ability only if you have total power 8 or greater. So we're running a Naya beatdown deck. It's really not that crazy to kind of get Formidable active, and it's a good way to kind of just use that early Shaman. I don't know, and I've always just loved the card art, man. Pretty cool looking card with little bones on there. Pretty cool. But I have not gotten a Formidable win, but that'll definitely be, whenever I build a commander deck, I always have like little win conditions that you kind of have inside the deck tucked away, and getting a Formidable win off the Shaman of Forgotten Ways is definitely one of the ways I want to win the deck. So definitely glad it's in there. We're also running Not Vine Mystic. Once again, 1 colorless mana, add Nyack to your mana pool. This is another way to kind of tap and then untap and generate some extra mana. Just on talking on the mana creatures, we're also running Radha in here. I just wanted to highlight her really quick because with Samut, she has Flash. So we get into spots where we get down Radha, we can swing in, add that 2 red mana to our mana pool whenever she attacks. And if we just have 3 mana up, we can get into spots where we can flash in Samut. We're not going to be able to attack with them, but we're going to have that red mana added to our mana pool. So it's another way to kind of take advantage of that flash ability. So outside of the tap mana creatures, we're running a bunch of tap utility creatures. So we're running Mother of Runes. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. So basically we can tap, give a creature protection, and then use Samut's ability to untap it and then give another creature protection. So really nice with that. We're also running Intrepid Hero. Tap, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. This is great when you're playing against something like a Traxxas, or your opponent has a really big commander. You can tap the Intrepid Hero, untap, and then blast another creature. We're also running Mangar. Exile her, and then exile another target permanent. Now, with Samut out there, what you can do is you can activate Mangar, hold priority, then untap it, and then activate it again, because as soon as you activate it, if you do it on Magic Online, you choose another permanent, it's going to resolve right then and there, so the opponent loses their permanent, and you're going to lose Mangara. So when you're playing online, you're going to need to hold the control key. You're going to hold priority, activate it, activate Namut in response, Samut in response, and then untap Mangara, and then that way you can exile 2 permanents for the price of 1 simply by holding the control key and untapping with Samut. We're also running Yisin, the Wandering Bard. Put a verse counter on Yisin for 3 mana. Search your library for a creature card with a mana cost equal to the number of verse counters on it, and then put it onto the battlefield. So it's one of those things to where, if you have the mana to get two activations in the same turn, cool, go for it. But other than that, it's almost kind of a little bit more of a value creature in here. Because usually with the tap creatures for Samut, you're looking to get stuff that is kind of free to activate or cheap. You've got Mother of Runes, you've got Intrepid Hero. Those are all free activations that we can just use again for 1 white mana. When you've got the 3 mana activation for Dissent, it's just really kind of more of a utility creature that late game, if we have enough mana, we can go for it. So it's there. Captain Sisay. Search your library for a legendary card, reveal that card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So this is another one of those cards that is going to get down. Samut gives everybody haste, so you can immediately use it, and then untap it again to search for another creature. So pretty good with that. We're also running Brigid, Hero of Kinsbale. First strike and then tap ability, it deals 2 damage to each attacking or blocking creature target player controls. Now the 2 damage in Commander's not the best, unless you're playing against tokens or something like that. But the untap ability really makes this good because basically it equates to 1 white mana, tap twice for deal 4 damage to each attacking and blocking creature target player control. So really good from that standpoint. We're also running Heartless over here. Tap, it deals damage to each player equal to that player's life total rounded down. So you want to make sure you've got a stable life total, but you can get 2 activations from that, which is really nice. We're also running Godsire. Heads Vigilance, create an 8/8 beast token that's red, green, and white. So basically, we're running a lot of ramp stuff. We can get down Godsire, and we get into spots where it's going to have haste, immediately make an 8/8 token, and then you can untap and make another 8/8. So you can end up with an 8 and then 2 8/8 tokens that both have haste. So really good card in the deck to kind of curve out into. It does cost a lot at 8 mana, but hey, this is Commander. We're here to have some fun. So that covers all the the tap and untap mana creatures that we're running, the tap and untap utility creatures. Let's go over to the Kiki Jiki combo. So the night colors really complement this combo really well. We're running Combat Celebrant. If it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap all the creatures you control. There's an additional combat phase. So you get into spots where you can get down the Combat Celebrant, get down Kiki Jiki, make a copy of the Combat Celebrant, exert both of them. Then you're going to have your creatures untap, make another copy. So basically, you're just going to be getting a bunch of infinite combo. There's a way. You can kind of disrupt the combo, but essentially you can just get into spots where you just have infinite attack steps. We're going to be getting a bunch of Combat Celebrants swinging in with Kiki Jiki. We're also running Zealous Conscripts. So whenever it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent until end of turn. Untap that permanent, it gains haste until end of turn. So cast Zealous Conscripts, gain control of Kiki Jiki, make a copy of Zealous Conscripts, comes into the battlefield, untap Kiki Jiki, gain control of it. You're gaining control of your same Kiki Jiki every single time, but it's going to allow you to untap it. So that you can go infinite Zealous Conscripts. And then here's the Kiki Jiki himself. Create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control. That token has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So this is going to be mainly our combo enabler. We're also running Village Bellringer. So, enters the battlefield, untap all creatures that you control. So you get into spots of where this enters the battlefield, untap Kiki Jiki, get a new one, untap all creatures, make another copy of it. So you're basically just going to get a bunch of Village Bellringers, and so you might need some little earmuffs if they're going to be ringing the bell. But yeah, you can go infinite Bellringers. I may have gotten this combo off. It's kind of fun going with Bellringers. And they're also running the Splinter Twin Enchantment. So you can simply stick the Splinter Twin Enchantment on a Bellringer or a Zealous Conscript to get a bunch of infinite tokens. And another thing that we're running is Tooth and Nail. We're running Naya Ramp, so we get into spots where we can entwine for 2. We can entwine for a couple of our combo pieces, and whether it's Kiki Jiki or Zealous Conscripts, whatever kind of fits the boat. And another card that I want to highlight is, where is it? It is, we're running, I'm testing this card out. It's been okay so far. We're running Yeva in here. No, there it is. Oh, our utility creatures. We're running Odric. So at the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn if a creature you control has first strike, and then the same thing is for a whole bunch of more keywords. So we can get down Odric and give all of our creatures all of Samut's abilities. We're also running Champion of Ronas. You may exert it as an attack, so when you do, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. And since Samut gains haste all of our creatures, we can drop something in like Mangar and have something as a little bit of a combat kind of trick to kind of swing that in, especially if we tap out for getting the champion on the battlefield. We're also running the God of Victory. Devotion 7 turns into a creature. Creatures you control have Menace, which is really going to help us kind of push in some nice little swing. And prevent all damage that would be able to attacking creatures that you control. So you can get into a spot to where you can just basically push in with all your creatures, not worry about that damage swinging through. We're also running Indigo, God of Revels. Devotion 7 creature. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and gets +X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. Samut has It's a 3/4, has double strike, so simply pumping up with Xenagos, you're looking at getting in for 12 commander damage. Let's say you end up with, you get down Samut, the next turn you follow up with Xenagos, they have a free open board and they tapped out for something. You can get in 12 commander damage and just really kind of catch them off guard with Xenagos getting that down. We're also running the Ward Leader. She has Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. Whenever she attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures that you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So I won a couple games with her. She's a really good card for the deck, and it's really not that hard to get into double red or double white with the amount of ramp and like Kodoma's Reach and Cultivates that we're running. We're also running Ellis Nord. It's just a little bit of a value play. Just pump up all of our mana dorks late game and kind of clear the board out so we can kind of swing in. And Assemble the Legion. I love this card. One of my favorite commander cards. I don't have enough decks to play it in. So whenever I built her, I was like, yes, we're throwing Assemble the Legion in there. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on Assemble the Legion. Oh, I love that muster counter. And then create a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token for haste for each muster counter on Assemble the Legion. So you get it down. Next turn you get 1 counter. Next turn you get 2. Next turn you get 3. Then basically it's going to compound each time you get those tokens. So it's a really good way that you can kind of close the game out. Let's say you get a bunch of your mana dorks blown up or something like that. Or you can get down Assemble the Legion and kind of have another secondary win condition. So we covered the tap and untap creatures. We covered the tap and untap utility creatures, the combo, the Kiki Jiki combo, and all of the other utility creatures that kind of helps us close the game out. I think that's it for the deck. This deck is built without the ban list in mind. I built this deck prior to the ban list, recorded some of the videos prior to the ban list. So you're going to notice some cards that are on the Magic Online ban list that will be banned here in about a week. So it's going to be a long process when I have to go through and update all of my decks. But this is basically probably going to be the last non-ban deck that I build for my channel. So if you see Mana Crypt or Soul Ring or something like that, it was built prior to the announcement. So, but yeah, I've got some good gameplay videos. Excuse me. I've got some good gameplay videos for you. Head on over there and check them out. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks.